looked at him the night before, you saw how weak his voice was. He was bent over, not presenting a very strong character.
FYI, Pence was part of the plan. Pence is then a turncoat. Just like a bunch of other people were part of a plan, they all turned.
And why Trump has kept him on, I don't know. The biggest problem that the president has had is really not putting in stronger people very early who are all committed to him and to the America First. So, but anyhow, we're not over. Things are going to change here in the next 10 days.
Well, we only hope so, because we've been told that now for... We've been told
well,
that...
Keep remember, hope is not a strategy.
You're right.
General McInerney, hope is not a strategy.
You're
you have
right.
to have a plan. We're war. This is a civil war.
I have a question.
You have to look at this as a military strategy, and you have to look at the threats, and then you have to be able to neutralize those threats. And I hope that's the advice General Flynn is giving him and others right now, including the Secretary of Defense.
That's another question. Are you able to talk with the president? Either one of you. Can you talk with the president? Can you get to him to say, go with your gut instinct? General?
For Carla Dean, no. And I wouldn't want to. He's in a special access program.
Okay, we're being interfered.
I got a question.
Hold on just a second, please, and thank you. What's your name, hon?
Greg Cummings.
Greg Cummings, can you hold on just a minute? There was Casey Krejci has a question. Casey?
Carla Dean, how are you?
Fine.
Well, my question is a couple of things. Okay, we're hearing that there was a very credible threat on the president's life yesterday. Okay, and that it was the first time he really spoke behind glass. And the question is he now operating, because his statements have plenty of wiggle room in them. They're not definitive. His giving up or his concession is not definitive. It seems to leave a lot of room for motion. Okay, so for the first question is he being threatened, and they turned up the heat a lot? The second question I'll just put out there to whichever one of you will be best to answer. Does President Trump have an alternative media that he can access, like the emergency communication system, or is there another one in the background that he can jump to, as all big tech has now banned him through the 20th? And then, how much time realistically do we have? And I'll ask another one, please, if you'll take those.
Well, we have twin ways. He can use the emergency system, that's for sure. He can shut down Twitter and Facebook very quickly. So there's a lot of tools there that are available. And during this phase one planning process for the for the next 12 days, you'll be seeing things laid out like that, including massive arrest of those who have been treasonous to the United States government and to the president.
Yeah, but my point there is we've been hearing about massive arrests now for, months, it seems like.
A lot of time, yeah, you're right.
Are there credible enough pressure that they can put on the president where he might be willing to bail on all these, quote, plans we have with regard to the Insurrection Act? And by the way, somebody mentioned the Resurrection Act earlier. I think that would be a better one. But anyway, coming back to this, are there credible threats that they can put on him and his family and future generations where he might be willing to bail? I mean, I'm asking.
I don't think so.
Okay, but what about all the times we've heard about, is Epstein alive, and they're gonna do
Conspiracy.
Make everything public, like he was going to declassify everything and show the Bidens and all kinds of other things. What about those pieces that we've been hearing about?
Well, it's very important when you look at that. We're in a civil war, so we have to look at it from a military standpoint. We cannot take conspiracy theories at all or fake news. And he is dealing with some very good military intelligence people now that are providing him real-time information and intelligence. And that's what he is doing. He's not listening to the news. He's listening to the military intelligence operations people.
Okay.
All right. Carla Dean, hold on. Dean, this is Brown. I want to let you know that we have had a couple of people check in and admit that they have Chinese characters. And I tried to back them out, but couldn't find them. They changed their name quickly. So I just want to warn everybody, we are being listened to. Okay. Yes, we had seen that also and tried to do the same. And so we know that I hope that they learn something.
I declare no weapon formed against us shall prosper in the name of Jesus.
That's right. Yeah, Zoom has been known to route its data through Beijing servers.
Absolutely. And we know that. I've tried other services and they've also shut me down.
Yeah,
Let's put the Chinese on notice, okay?
Yeah, exactly. We can get some other applications that work better. I'll talk to some people later, but yeah, this is getting a little ridiculous. But yeah, we need to take over some things.
Yeah, we do need to take over some things, and the sooner the better. You're absolutely right.
We do have friends and Christians who are on a lot of these calls for prayer for the United States.
Well, that could be also. However, I think we have infiltrators too. All right. Thank you, Casey. I'm going to give Craig Cummings a chance here. Please and thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for taking my question. So this is for the generals, and I had it initially for General Flynn because he was so close to those supposedly with all this treasure trove of evidence. So like Sydney and them. But this is my question to both the generals. I too am a longtime military and an ex-police officer, and everything's about tactics. And it is very true that we can't hold on to all this evidence too long. Wouldn't it be timing right now, because of all the media suppressing and getting out the truth? Couldn't we do our airdrop of every piece of evidence that we have in every platform across this country so that we, the people, can see the truth for the first time? I believe that yesterday, or when Antifa and those went into the Capitol building, yes, it was a setup, and it was a setup with the perfect timing because it prevented all the focus on the evidence being presented to be presented. So now the media is pushed on everything that happened there, and everybody's forgot about the evidence. So again, my question to the generals, wouldn't it be tactically beneficial for the country and for the mission overall to airdrop every piece of evidence that we have in every platform so that we, the people, can be informed?
Yes, this is General McInerney, Tom McInerney. Yes, I agree with you. And I think it's very important that this be done. I think you're going to see a lot of it come out from the source that we have, and it will be very soon. But you're absolutely right. The sooner the better.
And I pray to God that it's not leaked piece by piece by piece. Just dump it. Every bit of it.
Well, some of it has to be leaked for timing so we can get it out as soon as possible. If you've seen the take on the Leonardo satellite, the Italian satellite, that's getting a lot of publicity. And so trying to get, the old saying in the military that better is the evil of good. Good enough is what you and I are talking about. Get it to the American people rather than trying to get it perfect. And so that's what we're pushing for. Look, even without our data, which is specific, that shows the foreign involvement, and it shows how many votes were changed in each state, et cetera, which is very important. But there is so much other evidence that is around, and it's out there now. It's out there now. I mean, I could go through a list as we have Carla Dean that I got before that is very long. There are over 1,000 affidavits that are available to the public, I believe. But none of the mainstream media wants to look at it. None of the newspapers. So everybody is saying there's no evidence, and yet there's a lot of evidence out there. Give you an example. Pennsylvania mailed out 1.8 million mail-in ballots to its state residents. They got back 2.5. 700,000 ballots were cut from a printing press somewhere. I think it was in China from what the intel is. But the fact is, that 700,000 ballots people voted that they won't even mail the ballot. So there's a host of things. The president likes to read that one that he always talks about at 0631 hours on the 4th of November in Michigan, 149,772 votes came in for Biden at 0631 hours. So he's got specific data, and he has released that weeks ago. But for whatever reason, and of course, none of the courts have looked at any of the data on its merits. They've always had a process reason. But you're exactly right. The more data the American people have, because the final analysis, and this is why this call is so important, and what you're doing, Carla Dean, and all of you being on it, is that the information, the American people are going to make the final determination on this. Biden is not going to get away with this. I feel very strong on that, because we will not let him do it.
Well, I thank you very much, and Charlie, Mike, to both of you.
May I ask a question? This is Peter Tickton. May I ask a question?
Hold on just a second. There was someone named Bill who wanted to ask a question, and then we will take you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. They didn't do it, so go ahead, please.
Okay. General McInerney, I want to tell you, first of all, I really applaud you. We're at a point now, though, where what you're suggesting is our only chance. Everything else didn't work. The courts didn't work. The legislatures of the states didn't work. Nothing has worked. And I really agree with you. The only chance we have is if Donald Trump now exercises his prerogatives, and which is going to take more nerve than we've seen anybody else have in this whole process. We see so many gutless wonders who just either getting paid off or they just don't have the nerve to stand up. Donald Trump, I know Donald Trump, and he's not that way at all. I've known him since we were 17 together. But what I want to ask you, sir, is this. I mean, I understand you've got this thought out and you have your understanding and beliefs, but what indications do you have, if any, that Donald Trump also has any of these thoughts at this point? He's already said that he's not going to declare martial law. He's indicated other things, such as something could be read two ways as to that it'll be a peaceful transition. How can we 400 plus people that are watching now know that we're not just an alternate thought process that's going on the sidelines, but that this is actually what's going on in the game?
Well, that's a superb question. I'm going to have to tell you, I don't know. I just look at what he said yesterday. We will not surrender. And he took an oath of office. If he does surrender with all this abundant amount of information, then in my opinion, he is committing treason himself to not defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Just like that's what I believe, as General Bowley said, a vice president is guilty of now. And those other people, those prominent people, even McConnell is guilty, in my opinion, of treason for, I don't know the details, but I do believe the White House knows, and the involvement of these people with China, with the money. But in answer to your question, I can't give you an answer because I'm not on the inside. And we all would have liked this thing to break before, and I think it's got to break. We've only got 14 days, but that is the crux of the question. That's why Carla has got us all here trying to discuss it and give you the best knowledge that we have. We are not on the inside. We are privy to certain things, and there's no way that this operation, because it's so massive, could have been concealed. It's just too massive. And so I personally think he's got insiders that are leaking to him and singing, and I think that will be part of his exposure. But I don't know that. But I think they're going to run this. Lynn knows how to run these operations. It's how I would do it. The way I've come up with all this is, what would I do if I knew? Well, I'd put SIG in on them. I'd be looking at their emails, their phone conversations, everything that was going on. His problem was he didn't have an FBI that he could trust or a Department of Justice.
General,
And,
hold on just a second. Natasha, are you on?
Yes, I am. I'm right here.
All right, and tell everybody what you just heard.
Oh, I just saw it posted on Parler that Trump said that Biden will take office.
Yeah, don't believe it. Well, I just gotta.
I haven't watched the video, but that was the headline in Rumble.
Don't we think this is a good thing though, because that way he can get pardoned? They're gonna go after him. They have everybody
That
after
doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense.
they're gonna be legally going after him for every single thing. If he gets pardoned, then he could do what he needs to do for us and for America and go after all these things. If he does not get pardoned, we do what he's been trying to fight all the last 4 years with it. Everybody against him.
He didn't say Biden won. He didn't say that. That's false news. No, if you look at the links they're referring to and listen to it, he didn't say that. But the headlines say that, so that's false news.
He said
False news. Said a smooth transition, which could be him.
to a new administration, which could be him and another vice president.
Correct.
Get rid of the fence tomorrow, bring somebody else in, and then go from there.
Yeah, General, I'm just wondering, does anybody know what General Mike Flynn thinks in terms of invoking the Insurrection Act or taking any such actions?
General Flynn is advising, from what I know, to guide the president that there'll be a smooth transition to a presidency of President Trump, not Biden. And that's why the next 12 days in phase one, the actions will be taken, and those actions will be to invoke the Insurrectionist Act, as Joe McInerney's covered, or if he has to martial law, and he still has that ability as president within the next 12 days.
Thank you. I really appreciate your...
Carla Dean, this is Pastor Bruce.
I'd like to ask a question. If President Trump does this, what good is it going to do if there's no Justice Department? They have bellied up on this whole entire nation.
They are set aside.
That's right.
I sure hope so.
Carla Dean, Pastor Bruce.
The courts will be set aside. The Supreme Court will be set aside. There will be military tribunals to try the treasonous people that have been involved in this.
Okay, thank you. Pastor Broden, you have a question.
Yes, the effectiveness of the Insurrection Act is only as good as the military is willing to support the president. The issue for us on this phone is, will the military respond if he calls for the Insurrection Act? Will they respond and stand with him?
The designated military operations will, and that is specifically the Special Operations Command under the Secretary of Defense.
Excuse me, how do I ask a question?
You just did right now. Ask it.
Okay. I don't know how to post a chat comment, so I'll just read what I was trying to post and then ask for a response. President Trump's Go Home Peaceably video speech yesterday, I believe, satisfies the proclamation trigger of 10 U.S. Code Section 254 of the Insurrection Act. So he can now use all the Insurrection Act powers, including military National Guard resources, as mentioned in 10 U.S. Code 252. That means that Antifa gave President Trump's hidden in plain view trigger to authorize the use of all Insurrection Act powers until the total mess is remedied. So he should use the military now and mete out military justice, and then use as much time as he needs later to explain why he did what he did. I don't think he needs to invoke the Insurrection Act, because he just did, by virtue of that video, that he posted. Anyway, your comments, if any, General?
Well, I think, as Joe McInerney has explained, we've got a sequence of events here when we're what we call the end game. The end game here within the next 12 days. And President Trump knows who his allies are right now. He knows he can trust military intelligence as far as the intelligence coming in that they're receiving through different organizations. He's not getting it from the CIA or the FBI because he doesn't trust them. And right. So the military, the most trustworthy intelligence sources right now, and they're...
Ask a question.
I want to say something.
This is Janet Dicey. I have a question.
We are at a defining point right now for America.
General Valley, you're breaking up.
Sorry.
So could we have you say that again, please?
Am I still breaking up?
Not right now, you're not.
I forgot what I said. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding you. No, what I'm trying to say is the intelligence that the domestic and is present through the military intelligence organizations, not the CIA or the FBI, because he doesn't trust them. And so with that, and with General Flynn in there advising him right now, we will see a strategic plan in this Civil War that must work, because it's the defining moment for America. It's the awakening of America versus the Grand Reset that's going to be planned with the globalists within the next month or two.
General?
Okay, hold on just a second. I'm getting several, and then I will get to you, Barry.
We're stopping at 1 hour and 1 minute. All right, guys, so that was the first half of the video call. I've got the rest on another video clip here. I couldn't get it all into one. But so, just an FYI, I don't want to say this out loud because I don't want to get the B word banned. You know how that goes. But so right now we're going to take like a 2 to 5 minute break if you guys want that. So if you guys do want the 2 to 5 minute break, please go ahead and say yes. And if we don't get any yeses, I'm just going to go to the next part. Again, I will be coming back at 9 p.m. Eastern time to play this again for you guys. Okay, there's quite a few of you guys saying yes, you want a little break. So I'm going to give you a 2 to 5 minute break, okay? Let me just say I'll give you a 5 minute break. I'm so sorry for those that don't want the break and want me to keep going. There's quite a few that are asking for a break. We're going to do 5 minutes exactly. So right now it is 11:59. So be back at 12:04, please. I'm going to stay on the live. I'm not leaving the live, so you don't have to back out. And guys, my first account was banned. I don't know if I'll ever get back into it. They haven't given me access to it. This account right now that I have is my second account. I haven't been able to link my phone number to it. Therefore, I can't answer any of your messages in the messenger. So I apologize about that. Until they release my number from my old account, I can't link it over. Just FYI. If you guys want, while we're on this break, I can go ahead and look to see if you guys have any questions that I can answer. I won't be able to answer all your questions. I've got as much information as what you guys are getting from the video. So, excuse me, I will do my best to try and answer things for you guys. How do we record this? You can either screen record it, get an iPad, another cell phone, something like that, and record it. That's how I did. So the video was sent to me, but I can't share that video because it's got faces. It's got a lot of names. It was supposedly 450 to 600 and something people there. I thought it was 450 something, but they said 600 and something. So what I did was took the recording from my phone and I played it into my iPad, and that's what is playing right now. My iPad is playing to my cell phone so that you guys can hear this, guys. Thank you so much for the love, guys. So I don't know if you have an extra iPad or you have an extra cell phone that you can record it with. That's how I've done it. If you've missed anything, I will be back tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time playing part 1 and part 2 again, as well as through the week I'm going to play it. The people need to hear this. Everyone needs to hear this. So if you've missed anything, don't worry. You will hear it. Can I put it on another site? So I don't know how that works because it's 2 hours worth of video call. So I don't know if I can do that. I think every site is only a couple of minutes. If you guys know a site that'll let me put the whole thing up, then please say it in the comments so that I can do that. If I get banned, I will create another account. Every time I get banned, it's going to be Valkyrie 2 Valhalla number 3 is next. Valkyrie 2 Valhalla number 4 after that, and after that, and after that, you know. So the last number is the only thing that's going to change every time I get banned. Just FYI, so keep an eye out for that. Could I extract the audio and share it? I don't know. Like, I've got the audio on my tablet right now, but it's so long, I don't know how I would share that. You know what I mean? If you guys know how I would do that, please let me know. Okay, so Rumble. Okay, so wait. I see somebody say Rumbler, YouTube. Let me write this down. Rumbler, YouTube, go to the Gab, YouTube, Clapper. Lil, you said Clapper. Does Clapper allow me to put a video that long? I'm not sure it'll take that long of a video. Okay, so there is a Clapper Live. I didn't know there was a Clapper Live. I just learned something right now. Clapper Live. Are there any guidelines on how to do Clapper Live? I've never done it, so I'm not sure. Gab site. How about the Gab site? Can you put it on Parler? What else we got here? Somebody said, will we have martial law? I can neither confirm or deny. I can say that it is a possibility. If it does happen, it is necessary just because Trump has to do what he has to do, if that makes sense. Okay, Telegram. Clout Hub. Oh, are you just being a jerk? I can't tell. Oh, crap. I'm not even paying attention this time. All right, guys, we're over our time on the break, so hopefully everybody's back. Sorry about that. Let me put the video back up. We'll do questions again after the video. So let's see here. Part 1. Here's part 2. Bear with me.
This is Jan. This is Janice Deisinger. I have a question.
You are at the final point right now
Let
for
General,
America.
General Valley, you're breaking
Yes.
up.
Sorry.
So could we have you say that again, please?
Am I still breaking up?
Not right now, you're not.
Just an FYI, every single account that I have on every single website there is, it's Valkyrie 2 Valhalla. If I get banned, it'll be Valkyrie 2 Valhalla number 2. And then so on from there. But just look for Valkyrie 2 Valhalla. Did I sleep? I had a long night last night. Not gonna lie. All right, here we go.
I forgot what I said. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding you. No, what I'm trying to say is the intelligence that the domestic and
Wednesday.
is present through the military intelligence organizations, not the CIA or the FBI, because he doesn't trust them. And so with that, and with General Flynn advising him right now, we will see a strategic plan in the Civil War that must work. That's a defining moment for America. It's the awakening of America versus the grand reset that's going to be planned with the globalists in the next month or two. General?
Okay, hold on just a second. I'm getting several, and then I will get to you, Barry.
All right.
Hold on. I'm getting several questions. People are texting me here saying, why in the world doesn't President Trump get rid of Vice President Pence now?
He's not invited into the executive office anymore as of today.
Yes, but that's different than just absolutely letting him go.
Well, that's right. That's a decision the president has to make. I would do it tomorrow.
Yes, I agree, but apparently
That's his decision.
His decision. You're right. Okay.
I have a question. This is Connie Wilson in Washington, D.C. I just wanted to know the addendum that was in the last DOD act that the president vetoed and yet the Congress passed. Wasn't there something in there that he cannot enforce the Insurrection Act without the Congress? I guess, does that go into effect immediately or not?
Wait, hold on. But before you answer that, Barry was first. And
I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
That's okay. Listen, I'm just an average American citizen, but I have studied some U.S. history. And Washington crossed the Delaware, there was an element of surprise. And I'm leaving this up to my leaders to pull the pin. Know when to act and when not to act. And I think the element of surprise is very important here. I think our president, our commander-in-chief, is a true American. As we have a lot of true Americans around this country that feel that way. And I think that the element of surprise is very important. We can't, it's like playing a game of poker. You don't show your hand until the guy's right. And that's basically what I have to say.
You're exactly right.
Thank you, Barry. I appreciate your comment. Now, Miss, what was your name?
My name is Connie Wilson. We live on Capitol Hill in D.C.
Yes, ma'am.
I just had a question regarding the little addendum
addendum, if you will, that was in the last DOD bill that the president vetoed and then the Congress passed, that stated that he could not enforce the Insurrection Act without Congress. Is that in effect now or not? Or
sorry to pause this on you guys. I think Continue the Mission came in here, guys. So if you're not following Continue the Mission, if you're here, or if anybody has his at, can you go ahead and at him in here? Continue the Mission #3. And if you guys aren't following him, go ahead and follow him. He's there he is, guys. Continue the Mission #3. He is the entire reason why I was able to be on this video call. So follow him. He's going to be able to answer your questions better than I could ever do. So please follow him right now if you're not following him. If you want him to at himself again, or there we go. You guys, continue adding him so that everybody can see Continue the Mission #3. He's the owner of continuethemission.net, just FYI. He's the entire reason I was on this video call.
I would say not in effect or accurately. Go ahead, Joe McInerney. He may answer this better than I.
That's a good question. I don't know when it becomes effective. It may have become effective. It may have become effective when they overrode his veto. There is a certain time frame of doing that. He could probably do much of what he needs to do without the insurrection. So, the question is, I went out and I asked somebody that should know, and they said, again, I don't want to tell you who, but you all know him, said no idea, didn't use the word fight, but he said transition to a new administration. Then he says, what the heck does that mean? These are the words that apparently he said on Hannity. We'll see. We'll have to see. That question before about surprise. You know, he's got to ward off this 25th administration and the impeachment. I think he is going to work at doing that and somehow get this information exposed. Apparently, the Democrats all know what he is being charged with. What the lawsuits are going to be, and maybe that's why they're coming up with this pressure. That's why they deliberately, I believe, attacked the Capitol yesterday with Antifa, and so now I think they're probably trying to keep the pressure on them because they know that once it's exposed to the American people, that the American people will not have it. They will not have the president in all our years, 244, whatever it is, have a president that is elected by an unconstitutional election. And that's what this is. It's unconstitutional. It's very simple. It's black and white. And the American people know it. But again, we're not privy to what he's doing and the pressure he's got from within his own cabinet and within his own friends in the Congress. The Congress abandoned them. I would lock them all up personally tomorrow because they didn't do their responsibility and they approved the legislation or the bill and approved all the voting on it, electoral votes. They should never have done that.
Okay. Brad Barton, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Cardline, for doing this. I had a question for the generals and just some information I came across and wanted to see if there's any validity to it. Says the military took all the laptops from Congress when they left the premises last night. They were messaging the Chi-Com party, Antifa, and the fake news, and the onslaught of the Capitol building by the Patriots / Antifa was a sting operation. They were caught red-handed. The dude wearing the horns. I did a video last night from the hotel in Fairfax, Virginia. I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. About midnight, a little after, and I thought I'd seen the guy with the horns 3.5 weeks ago at the December 12th rally, and he had smiled for me, and I took a picture of him and all of that. And I don't know if I'm talking out there with you guys or not, but he was the one in the picture today, and but anyway, so he's been at all of these different rallies, and but anyway, it says I'm sorry. The dude wearing the horns, I explained in another post, this guy said he's actually an undercover Marine and he was playing the part. His name and social media profile, calling him an actor, was fake. He attended protests, both BLM and Patriot, shirtless, so obviously to others he is not wired. But unbeknownst to everyone, he had cameras inside the horns the whole time, recording everything. He has been gathering intel on Antifa BLM for a while now, and today he played his part convincingly.
Interesting.
Any truth to that?
Very interesting.
Yeah, it'd be tough to validate that from where we're standing. You'd have to send a special operations team in to interview him.
Okay. Thank you.
Ian, may I ask a question?
Yes, Fran.
Okay. Since I'd like to go back and have you give us a game plan, what would you like us all to do right now? I felt that there were about 250,000 people there yesterday that feel that this election was defrauded to the American public. What do you want us to do? And also, one other question. I feel like we want to contact President Trump and let him know that the American people are behind him. So how do we contact the president to encourage him? And number two, what do you want?
All right. Hold on, Fran. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Everybody mute.
Use profanity to make yourself right.
Hello? What about profanity? Whoever said that, we can hear you. Mute, please. Okay. Now, Fran, could you repeat some of that, please? Because so we can hear it.
Okay, Gail, do your best with the muting people. My question is simply that you have all of these people that attended this rally. I'm one of them, and was defrauded. We want to do something about it. We want to show President Trump that we are behind whatever he wants to do to have the courage to put all of these people and charge them with treason. Where do we go? Do we write letters? Where do we go? And number two, how do we get that information out? And are we willing to have a unified message that we can then put out to our contacts? And can you help us with that?
Well, let me take a crack at it. I think you ought to be writing your senators and your member, and then I think that you ought to clearly be doing what you're doing, getting kept up to breast. It's going to happen very quickly. I really feel that that's going to happen. There isn't much time. And by the way, while I'm saying this, that source, what the president said tonight, said that there would, now that the Congress has approved the electoral votes, there will be a new administration. He did not say that it would be a Biden administration. So he still has not given up, in my opinion. But getting on, because this is the right thing. What are we going to do now? What's our game plan? And it's to support the president in any way possible.
Amen.
He's and getting out and articulating that we at least want the minimum that is accepted is that they have an audit of the election. Vice President Biden, if he was an honest man, would be demanding an audit of the election. All the Democratic people you know should demand an audit. So if you get in a discussion with friends and show the American people. That's the most important thing we as Americans can do today, is demand that we have an audit of the last election. Now, we're going to have coming out just the data from our program that shows all the voting, the cyber warfare. Founding fathers, as I've said before, had never heard of cyber warfare. They had heard of enemies, foreign and domestic. And this cyber warfare is so dangerous. It's been used so much lately that like it was used just Tuesday night. So we've got to stop that. In the future, every precinct should have a cyber warfare package that is analyzing the data. And but that's an aside. We'll take care of that the next election. But we cannot fix this until we have an audit of what went on in all 50 states. We're primarily looking at 6 states or 7 states that the fraudulent activity was created. But it's imperative that we get an audit so we find out who won the election. Right now we have a president-elect that is unconstitutionally, we know right away, because so many of the states had mail-in balloting. Votes could come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days later, and none of that was in their constitution. That is the only way you can have an election, is run what is in the constitution of each state.
But how do you demand an audit? How do you actually go about demanding an audit? Do you make this a public, where all the groups get out there and say, we demand an audit, we're just yelling at the air? Or do you demand the audit from your senators, of which most of them are Biden supporters anyway? How do the grassroots get this word out so that we demand an audit and somebody really does it?
Well, that's the key thing. Demand those senators. If they're Democrat, demand that they have an audit and see what they say. See, was it done within the constitution of the state you're in? That's the key thing. It's those key states that we're talking about make the difference, which are Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. I think I got all of them. The fact is, that's what we must have the audit on. And then the difference will come. So in every forum, let's demand an audit. Let's get the facts so every American citizen can see it. And then, by the way, it's pretty easy to do it pretty quickly, because we know 3 states right now, the legislature is trying to change their balloting. And all of this data is readily available. Now, what they are not letting is the data on the Dominion voting machines. But I'm not as worried about that, because there were so many mail-in ballots. And if it wasn't in their state constitution, despite COVID-19, and by the way, COVID-19 was a deliberate biological attack by the Chinese against the world and the United States to, number one, impact our economies, and number 2, to impact the 2020 election. That did not just happen in 2020. If anybody thinks that, they haven't understood all the things that the Democratic Party has been involved with. Were the Democrats involved with COVID-19? I don't have that evidence yet. But look at the timing. When did they impeach the president? Last December and January. When did COVID-19 show up? Last December and January. Oh, I'm sure that was just an accident or fortuitous.
Lee Cowden Caraway has a comment. Leanne?
Yeah, can you hear me?
This is Dr. Cowden. You'll be next, Dr. Cowden. Hold on. Is Leanne on? Well, okay. Dr. Cowden, you're next.
Carla Dean, could I?
Dr. Cowden, and then whoever that was, he'll be next.
Okay. many of the Republican state senators have seen proof that there was fraud in their election process in their state, and even tried to send letters to the U.S. Congress saying don't certify our state. But they were not able to do that officially because they were not in session. This coming Monday, all of the swing states have Congress going back into session. If you contact people in those states and get them to review the fraud that was done in their state, decertify the electors that their state puts forward, and put in new electors in place of that, then all this problem goes away.
That's correct. That's what we want. But they have voted. But so that's why it's so important that we have an audit. If I can get to these people and tell them to do their responsibility.
Hello? You're getting a lot of feedback, honey. Okay, who was this? Excuse me? Okay. There is Peter, are you on? Peter?
Can I just make a real quick comment? It's not a question. It'll take 5 seconds. Today I was praying for our nation and praying for President Trump. And I opened up to 2 Kings. It was chapter 18, 17 through 19. And if you read that, it was talking about how this king came in, Sennacherib, and was going to take over King Hezekiah's kingdom. And he came in, he taunted, and he caused all kinds of corruption. But if you just read that, if you have a chance tonight before you go to bed, read it, because God is going to take care of this, and we need something higher than ourselves. God is the only way this can be done. Jesus is the only answer to do all of that has to be done, because this is so massive.
Thank you so much, hon.
Hi, Carla. Can I ask a question?
Wait a second. Hold on. Okay. Peter Ticton, are you on? All right. Apparently not. Yes. Whoever wanted to ask the question, please.
Hi.
That's not me.
Am I on?
Yes.
Okay.
What's your
Thank you. My name is Margaret, and I'm here in DC, and I'm with fellow patriots who were at the rally. And I'm listening to this call, and it just sounds similar to what Trump said at the rally, which is information that we all know, but we're all sitting here waiting for a plan. And we don't know what we're supposed to do. Emailing and calling our congressmen is pointless. They have not stepped up, and they aren't going to step up. And it's time now for the president to start using his presidential powers, because if he doesn't, then he's treasonous. And he called us all to DC, and he called us to be here for a wild protest. And in reality, we, the people, are feeling betrayed, because we did what he asked. He asked us to march to the Capitol. He asked us to make sure our voices were heard. And the people did that. Now, Antifa and Black Lives Matter were the ones who broke the law, but the people peacefully protested, and we did have our voices heard. And now we're being silenced again. We're being silenced by our senators, our congressmen. We're being silenced by the media. And to sit here now and keep talking about, hypotheticals isn't going to work. We have 13 days. And so I guess the question that we all want to know here in DC is, what can we do to help President Trump? Like, what does he need to push him over the edge to use the powers he has in the EO order, in the Insurrection Act, what needs to happen? I was really hoping for a plan in this call or some sort of.
Thank you, Margaret. Just a second. I don't mean to cut you off, but the general is going to have to go, and I want him to be able to answer this. So I think that I agree with you, Margaret. And I was told that we were going to get some information that we haven't heard before. And I was hoping that we would have some things released. And I think we have. But General, would you address that before you go, please? General McInerney.
I'll give you my best, Carla Dean, and that's an excellent question because I asked the same one myself. We're not privy to this special access program. It is highly classified, very closely controlled, although it's evident to many of us listening to the president. And we've done everything he could have asked us to do. And so I don't have an answer to that. I just think we have to hold on, keep the faith. As Paul and I say, hope is not a strategy, but we've got to have hope on this and stay engaged. Let's not give up until we see, until we have to give up. But even then, we should never give up because we are going to be a communist society, and we cannot be that. That's going to happen to us.
But we know that already, General, and that's why we're all here. And
But you know what? Can I just add something? I think that honestly, you that went to Washington, D.C., you did exactly what the president wanted. And you gave him an opportunity to say what he needed to say to activate the Insurrection Act. So you should all be very, very proud that you did what you were supposed to do. And President Trump, we need to hold up his arms because he is getting ready to make some big decisions. And he needs to know that we are praying for him. We are there. We are willing to do whatever he needs us to do. But honestly, I think he's got a plan. I think he's got a good plan. And he needs to know we are behind him.
Shad Sullivan, can I ask a question before we do?
Yes, Shad, go ahead.
Thank you so much. This is for the generals. Many of you may not know that our food supply is controlled by foreign nations, largely controlled by foreign nations. My question to you is, as we see all of these foreign nationals, such as China, buying up all of our farmland and ranch land across America, if the president puts into motion this act and this goes in the direction, how likely is it, or how in danger are we of getting attacked on our own soil by foreign entities or foreign countries?
Absolutely.
So that's my question. Thank you. Shad Sullivan, Texas.
Shad Sullivan, this is Mary Fanning. Let me answer your question. One, part of what the president had to do was announce that people needed to keep the peace and go home. He did part one of moving into the Insurrection Act. Connie, you asked, can the president still have the power to invoke the Insurrection Act? Your question is an important one because what happened was that the NDA amendment did not make it into the final bill. The president does not have to get permission from Congress. His presidential powers are still fully employed. So understand that. Secondly, we have a massive amount of data which is going to prove exactly, and it does prove, what was taken by members of the FBI and given to our adversaries in order for them to influence and access our elections. You can go to theamericanreport.org, theamericanreport.org. There you will see an article on the slider. It's proof positive coordinated cyber warfare attack. There are links that will take you to two other sites where you will see the collected evidence.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you saying that.
I have a question.
All right.
Is it true that Obama was the one that started this right before he left office? You know, I saw a video recording of that. Is that really true? That he gave the 14 pallets of money, $400 million to Italy and various other countries?
We know from those who came forward, who had been in the skiffs that had oversight over Benghazi, that President Obama was giving money to Iran. I'm not talking about Italy, I'm talking about Iran. We also know that as far as started all this.
Hey guys, if you caught that website, there it is, AmericanReport.org. AmericanReport.org. Thank you so much for putting that on there.
Yes, if you remember Richard Grinnell, when they asked who had the orders for unmasking, and Richard Grinnell, who had been the acting DNI, and the person who has that position right now is John Ratcliffe, he told that it was not our product. So that the intelligence agency had no reference to anyone spying, and so they went right back to the Oval Office, that those orders came out of the Oval Office. We know that President Obama, along with John Brennan and James Clapper, had illegally commandeered a hammer. And they were using it to spy on General Flynn and others.
Why aren't they being arrested? You know, why aren't we waiting? Just like we've all said, why don't we just keep hanging out, wondering what the next move, and everybody just keep waiting on, you know?
Well, so you have to consider something. You had better have proof positive before you go into court that can give you all the exact information. And beyond that, I'm sorry if whoever's coughing, but beyond that, what you've seen with Bill Barr and certain people who stepped out of their positions of power and did nothing, you have to understand that held everything up for a very long time. The president had many people around him who were turncoats.
Okay, we have another question. Really quick from Reverend Cook.
Yeah, my question is, I have a question and a comment. If General Flynn has direct access to the president, do either of you generals have, do either General Vallely or General McInerney have access to General Flynn? And secondly, I was wondering if maybe Alex Newman could comment on his recent conversation with a constitutional attorney about invoking the Fourth Amendment, the president's rights under the Fourth Amendment, if he's still on.
Yes, I do have access to General Flynn.
Both of the generals do, actually. Okay?
As do I.
And Mary does also. Does that answer?
There's only so much he can say, Carol, as you know.
Exactly.
He's in an inner circle right now. Very, as far as access to what information comes out of those meetings, is very close hold, especially now in this final 12 days. And so General Flynn cannot come outside and even tell General McInerney and I definitively what the plans are, because we may be hacked as well by all these people. So we have to be very careful on the information we get and what we provide. And we're very conscious of that. But we do know there is a plan. It's to be executed within the next 12 days, and that President Trump plans on being the president for the next 4 years, and that the treasonous people will be held accountable. We couldn't depend on Barr or Durham at this point on anything, or the Attorney General, the Justice Department, the FBI, the Deep Swamp. That's why it's in military hands at this time.
What about Mark Meadows?
Yes, you're right. Who said that comment?
Me, Bill Cook.
That you are correct. Mark Meadows is not to be trusted either.
I heard he's very weak.
I'd like to ask a question for the generals.
Yes.
So I'm just a simple.
Who is this?
My name is Nico. I'm a senior in high school. I'm probably like one of the youngest ones here. But what piques my interest is that we keep focusing on what the president can do and what he should do and how he should do it. But my question is disregarding the hope, which you generals are saying, which isn't the strategy but is our mindset, but instead focusing on the reality of the small time frame till the 20th. So my question is, how imminent is a Biden presidency?
14 days?
Right.
Yeah, so anyhow, that's why we're on a fine timeline here. And the execution.
Okay.
Carla Dean?
Is there. Now when we pull the trigger on that, that's the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Garland.
Yes.
Garland, I want you to say something. He's in Georgia. He is one of the main people that's working against the fraud. And I do want Garland to tell what the plan is in Georgia. Garland?
Thank you, Carla Dean. Yes, I do want to say that we've got a lot of hope still going on here in Georgia, which may apply to other states. Yesterday at 4:00, we had a hearing. We were on a motion to compel Fulton County to show us the ballots. And if y'all are following this, you've probably seen that viral video of State Farm Arena of them illegally scanning ballots after monitors went home. Those were the ones that were hidden under the table. What you may not know is that we have 4 sworn affidavits from 20-year poll workers who had handled these fraudulent ballots during the audit that were conducted here about a month ago. The judge, who we really like, he put in a protective order on the ballots. He's granted us an evidentiary hearing, but we have to give Fulton time to respond because it is not we can't treat it as an emergency. We couldn't treat it as an election challenge because they would have kicked it out for being past the 5-day limit. So the bottom line of all this is that we will have a hearing next Friday, and we will be, I believe, granted the motion to inspect the ballots. We will be ready to go, and by Saturday evening, we will have the evidence, both visually and forensically, to prove that there was enough fraud in Fulton County to overturn the presidential race in Fulton County, actually the entire state, that would grant President Trump the electoral votes. We still have to do that legally, but it would also impact the Senate race because we believe there's enough fraud that means that Perdue should have never been in a runoff with Ossoff. He won that one with more than 50% of the vote. So that's where we're going in Georgia, and we think that we can achieve that prior to Inauguration Day. In regards to other states, I'm not sure where they stand, but Pennsylvania has a similar situation where we know that 100,000 fraudulent ballots was shipped in. If somebody does that same thing up there, if they haven't already, we can turn Pennsylvania, and that puts President Trump right on the 270 mark, electoral vote mark, without declaring, a military intervention. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that update. We're working as hard as we can in Georgia to overturn this election fraud, and we will continue doing it all the way through Inauguration Day. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, Carla Dean.
Well, thank you, Garland. But and I'm going to ask you the same thing that we've been asking. But how soon can this be done? I mean, if it has to be done within these next few days.
Yeah, unfortunately, the judge raised a good question. He said that why is this an emergency hearing if it's not an election challenge? We couldn't make it an election challenge because he would have kicked it out of court because of the 5-day rule. So we had to give Fulton County time to respond, and he's given them a week. So we won't really be able to get the hearing until Friday morning, which is not tomorrow morning, which is 1 week from Friday. So that backs us up to the last week before inauguration. But we will have the answers a couple of days prior to inauguration.
And I hope that you announce them loudly and clearly and widely. And often.
We will.
That's really. Okay, I think we're almost ready to wind this up, and we want marching orders, General. We need marching orders. I have a question for you, General. I have been told that there are Chinese troops that are in Canada on our border. Is there anything to that, or the UN? General?
I think we lost him.
Mary?
Yes, there are. They are telling us that there's 75,000 Chinese troops on our northern border in Vancouver. They're also telling us that there are some on our southern border. And for those of you who have followed everything that has happened, and you understand the book that the two Chinese colonels wrote, Unrestricted Warfare, they pretty much have followed that plan that they announced how they were going to take us down. And they told that they would let a bioweapon go on the United States. They would collapse our economy, and then they would hit us with a second round of a bioweapon, and then they would invade. So they have told us what they planned on doing, and the Chinese general has referenced this book on several occasions. So this is not news, and people should have understood, and certainly the Obama-Biden administration did, as they were giving our ports out and giving our cargo container operations out to enemy combatants and people who had been in the Pentagon's blacklist. The blacklist means that you are wanted for capture or kill, and Joe Biden was behind making sure that those 35 and 50-year leases that received no CFIUS, no National Security Threat Analysis Review, that those ports, our ports, were given over to the enemy. Anyone who's ever studied Sun Tzu and the art of war understands how very dangerous that is, particularly understanding that the people that were given those ports from the Middle East had just gone into a joint venture with Russia's Rostec Russell Boron Export, which is the exporter of the Club K cargo container that opens up via satellite and launches biological, chemical, nuclear, an EMP, or a standard payload. That is what the Obama-Biden administration put in place.
So we do indeed have those Chinese on our borders that you have been told of, correct?
75,000 on the northern border. I'm not sure the exact number on the southern border. But we also have the Club K, which is very disturbing.
What was the name of that book again?
Unrestricted Warfare. It is by two Chinese colonels.
I think we should all read that book right now.
Well, let me also direct you. Worldview Weekend has different podcasts where Brandon House has covered that. He has covered our work, Alan's and my work on the ports. The story, the name of the article is The Perfect Storm. The Perfect Storm. You can find that. It's an occasional paper at the Center for Security Policy, and you'll have insight into what exactly Barack Obama and Joe Biden put in place in this country. Again, then you can go to Worldview Weekend, and you can find that. And actually, Carla Dean, is there some way that we can email links to this group?
Yes, you can give it to me, and then we can send it out.
Okay, well, we'll send you a link so that you can watch, on the one hand, the videos, and on the other hand, we will send you the Perfect Storm so you have some understanding of what Barack Obama and Joe Biden put in place in this country. And let me tell you, when I wrote the papers, when Alan and I, it was a multi-year investigation. And when people who were military at high levels, you have to understand that they stay in their lanes. And when all this was put together, it was shocking. And they took it to military intelligence, and they confirmed all this is exactly correct. And Carla Dean, you also knew Admiral Ace Lyons, 4-star Admiral Ace Lyons. And Admiral Lyons used to echo our work and write papers about our papers so that it would get more people to understand what the Obama-Biden administration, the treason that they had committed on this country. It's beyond imagination.
I want everybody to know that we no longer have the ports in the Panama Canal. All the Panama Canal now is Chinese.
Well, you should be,
that was given over under Carter.
Yes, it was, but you should also understand that our cargo containers, 0.1% are hand checked, and they are checked by Hutchison Whampoa, a Chinese company.
They're the Chinese. That's a Chinese. They changed their name to Hutchison so it would sound more American. They did that on purpose, everybody. I want you to know that.
Ms. Carla Dean, may I ask a quick question?
Well, certainly, hon. What's your name, Brad?
Yeah, Brad Martin, Chattanooga, Tennessee. For Miss Mary, I don't think the generals are on here any longer, so if they are, they could respond. You know, one lady said that earlier that was talking about how, you know, we went to Washington, we were there, and we're, you know, people are discouraged, yada, yada. I wondered, Miss Mary, if you could shed any light on something I saw that, you know, basically it was that, you know, Trump got all the patriots to show up in mass yesterday, and we were all there, okay? And Antifa infiltrated us with Congress's support. They were let in, and in fact, I've seen videos where they were actually, the police or whoever was there opened the gate and they turned their back to the people. Okay, and they insurrected as required for the Insurrection Act. Then the military had people fully infiltrated in Antifa and recorded everything.
What's your question?
Well, is there any truth to that?
I believe that there is. So President Trump called the American people to stand up to stop the steal, because we all understand that they're not just stealing our vote. When we have China, Russia, Syria, Iran, Iraq deciding who's in our White House, they're not just stealing the vote, they are stealing America. And I assume you all have seen some of the bills and the policies that Joe Biden and his communist cabal look to put in place. And understanding what's coming, if they take over this country and turn it into a communist country, should keep us all very alert at this point. And the most important thing is we understand that not only did the intelligence community, not only did our senators, not only did the Department of Justice, but they all were working to take this president down. Why? Because of how corrupt they are and the crimes that they have committed over many years. And I think at the end of the day, we all understood when Richard Grenell came and when he was acting DNI, and he said, what you're looking at is the American people against Washington, D.C. So they work for us. We do not work for them. This is our country. We will not let it be stolen by communists, either foreign or domestic. And we will stand up. Because no one else is coming to save us.
I have a question.
Let me make a statement here. I continually hear people saying Chinese companies. We need to use intelligent words to convey a thought. There are no Chinese companies. There are Chinese government agencies. And we need to change our verbiage.
May I ask a question? If we have this kind of information, why can't the President of the United States declare that there is a war within the United States? It is foreigners in here purposing to take us over. You've got them on the borders of Canada, and we know we're in a civil war. Why can't we declare that?
Well, I think that's what President Trump is. I don't think he's declaring it a civil war. I believe he does not want to go to a civil war. I believe where he's going is to invoke the Insurrection Act so that the military can put down this communist revolution.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I think it's a pretty good question, but This is Mary Seymour calling from Colorado, and I am very involved in helping the Republicans in the state of Colorado, and there is a provision in the...
Mary, we can hardly hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just try to speak it up. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Okay, sorry. Is there a provision in the Constitution that allows for a president who has had his agenda impeded to serve an extra 4 years so that conceivably Donald Trump could serve 8 years? Because his agenda has been constantly interrupted for the 4 years that he has served so bravely. Is that a possibility? My sister and I were speaking about it. She's in the military and she had read it as well. Do you know if that's true?
I don't know if that's true, but we have looked into it, and the idea that they stole 4 years of his presidency.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, he really did not get, everything he's done has been an uphill climb, for him.
There's nothing in the Constitution that would grant him that additional 4 years.
No, all right. There's nothing in there.
No, there's not.
And I think our main hurdle is let's get him back in for the next 4.
Right, exactly.
That's where we need to be concentrating our efforts right now.
Well, tell him we're all behind him and we're waiting for him to act as the commander-in-chief, and we will do what he tells us to do.
Yes, but it's important that he act and not just we get dumped on.
Right, absolutely.
Carla Dean, he can't come out. Carla Dean, you understand, he cannot come out and ask, and he can't come out and reveal a plan that he doesn't want the other side to know what he's doing in advance.
Well,
so that's very key.
I understand that, Mary, and I'm not arguing with you at all. I'm just saying that I've had several comments that say, are we getting our hopes up again just to be let down again?
Right.
And that's what...
I fully understand.
And that's what the people here are anxious to hear. Because they don't want to lose their country and they don't want to lose this president, and they certainly don't want to let the left steal away the liberties. And so that's what the main effort is here.
Can I interject something, please? There is, if you listen to any of the prophets, I'm just going to take a couple minutes, but prophetically, there have been about 5 prophets that have received words from the Lord that Trump is going to have another term. It's going to be very turbulent. We're supposed to have food and water for about 3 months, and then come spring, things are going to be back to normal, and Trump is going to put our country back to as close to it was at the turn when it was first founded. That's what the prophets are saying. And I think we need to walk forward and believing in Trump, because he's an amazing man and he can do this.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, there was a gentleman that had glasses on and he wanted to say something. Where is he?
My name is Danny Torres. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. First off, thank you so much for having this forum. This is my first time to meet a lot of you, but I've heard a lot about you guys. Real quick, I'm an old psychological unit analyst specialist from the 80s. I've been in the military for 10 years. A lot of what we're seeing right now is military operations at its best. Look, we broke down the Soviet Union using these very same operations that are now being used against us. What we need to understand, and Mary, this is important, we have the public broadcast system that is the people's system. We have a communication system. We don't need Facebook. We don't need Twitter. If we need to get the information out, we can use the people's broadcast system. That's why it's there. And we need to remember that. Now, the other thing is we are up against a huge timeline. I'm a local influencer on Facebook. I have a lot of followers, and people are disheartened after the last night. It's been a tough 24 hours, and I try to keep everybody encouraged, try to keep them moving forward. I do use biblical principles. I am a licensed minister also. So I try to do the right things, but we need to drop this information quickly and let this information go out there, and we need to continue to keep mouthing it, and we need to utilize those processes we have available. This is the only way it's going to win. I love the fact that we have things going on in Georgia. I love the fact we have things going on in Pennsylvania. We don't need to be too little too late. We need to get out there. And
thank you, Danny. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And that's what I was just going to I'm going to close with this. I think that what we need to do, that at one point on this call, we had 635 people. Think about this. If each of us took just 5 people, and we asked those 5 people to get the information out, how we could actually multiply. God is about multiplication. Satan is about division. And so what we need to do is multiply. And if each of you, and we need to get this information out, and you are right, but each of us take at least 5. And maybe we need to do another call like this very soon and invite those people to come and whatever we need to do. But use your social media, use your sphere of influence. Each of you have a sphere of influence. Use it and then grow it and ask them to grow it. Please and thank you.
What do we do? What do we do on our social media?
You remind the people that this, what they have seen, is not true. Like the insurgents actually came in. It was I call them insurgents. They came into the Capitol. That the police, and if you can get a copy of those videos, send it out.
Well, they've totally fact-checked and removed it.
Keep putting it up. Keep putting it up. Just go back, putting it up. Be persistent. Maybe 1 or 2 people might see it.
You have to fight the narrative that the Mockingbird Press is putting out. So you need to get the truth of what really took place, and that it was Antifa that was violent. So that's one piece. Another piece is that you need to inform people. I think it's an important time, as Lynn Wood is saying, and he's putting out information that he would not put out if it were not exactly true. His expertise is in slander. So when he's right now, he's also telling the American people, get water, get food. If you can have protection, be careful, pay attention, because we're not sure what's coming, but we're very concerned.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, we're going to end this up now. It's gone over 2 hours. So I'm going to ask for Judy Wade to end in prayer. We will do this again, so hang in there, kids. And my email is, and repeat, that he said we have to demand an audit. And so some of the things that you can do right now, in addition to informing people that it was Antifa that was, we must demand an audit. We must not accept this election, and we must support President Trump and write to him. Well, I think that you are absolutely right. And people, they need about maybe 3 to 5 at the very most talking points. And then if you can just put links to things, just like Mary gave us some things today to go look at, and so did the generals. And then just put those at the side, and then they can look it up themselves. Short and sweet.
Carla Dean, yes. Carla Dean, I'm going to send you action points. I'm going to send you a couple links, and then you can send them out to everyone so that we're informing people, and you're starting that line that you can start putting this information out to people, and that they can then carry it forward.
All right, so look for that in your emails, please, and thank you.
May I ask Mary a question?
Yes, you may.
Please hurry.
Hey, Mary. I'll hurry.
Yes.
Mary, are you familiar with the firefighter Mark?
The firefighter Mark?
Yeah. The prophet?
No.
Oh,
Mark Taylor.
Okay. Yeah, Mark Taylor. Are you familiar? Are you friends with him?
Is he Mark? Could you please tell me, is he on Twitter?
Oh, well, if you don't know, that's okay. Hey, may God bless you. We're close to prayer. Thank you, Carla Dean.
All right. Let's.
Carla Dean, this is Gail. I just want to remind everybody you can save the chat. You're asking what's the email and this and that. Save the chat. Those three little dots at the bottom where it says everyone in waiting room. Click on that and you have the option to click save chat. Save the chat. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Gail. I appreciate it. All right, Judy, are you on? Judy Wade.
I am here, Carla Dean.
All right, Miss Judy. I want you to say the prayer. Thank you.
All right, we'll wrap this up. Let's just go to the Lord in prayer after the tremendous couple of hours. Lord, we just come humbly before you. And
forgive me for pausing it. So they go into prayer, and then that's the end of the video call. So so I may have been wrong. Probably about 2 hour long video call, not a 2.5 hour video call. But I'm going to come to you guys in the questions. Anything that you guys have questions on that I can help with, I will help. I don't have the answers to everything. I don't know what Trump's doing right now. All I know is that he's not done. And if the media says he's conceded, whatever the case may be, do not believe the media. Just don't do it. So you guys, I will be back on tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys want to join, if you've missed any part of this, you can watch again. For those of you that have recorded, start spreading the word, letting people know. If you took notes, start making videos and letting people know what's going on. I request that you refrain from using names that you heard, except for like generals, people that people really know. I know there was a couple of people in there that were just civilians like you and me. If you did catch their name, I'm pretty sure it was just first names, but still, just try and leave those out. I'd appreciate that. We don't want to cause anybody any issues. So, yeah, so we'll see what you guys are saying. Oh, again, if you guys are stocking up, please prepare for up to 4 months is what I was told. That doesn't mean you're going to need 4 months worth of stuff. If you can prepare that far out, then do so. Ammunition, if everybody's out of ammunition, try your gun ranges. That's where I went. They had hollow points there. They had all kinds of ammunition. So try your gun ranges for ammunition. I don't know if there is going to be a blackout. I just know that Parler went down the other day, and if what happened in Tennessee were to happen again somewhere in the world, I'm not saying it is. If it was going to happen again, then there will be some sort of a blackout because people in Tennessee said that they did get a blackout on their cell phones, etc. That is just an FYI. So that's why I've said before, get CB radios, get ham radio, whatever you call them, two-way radios, etc. Try to get something that you don't need cell phone towers, your cell phone services for. And social media. Social media is going to keep blocking us. My last account was banned. I don't know how long it's banned. My videos that I've been posting on here keep getting taken down. So just an FYI. They are trying to censor us. So that's why I'm saying take as much information as you can. Spread it out. Let everybody know what's going on. I can't get back at 9. Okay, so 9 o'clock's not the only time I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do this tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and then I'm going to do it sporadically through the week. I'm trying to avoid the trolls. So I may give times of when I'm going to do it, and I may not give times, and I may just do it. Just FYI. So you will, during this entire week that's coming up, you will get a chance to hear what's going on in the tapes. Okay, we couldn't make phone calls, nothing here in Tennessee. The news lied about that as well. Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah, guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys are all doing your part by even being here. So you guys have no idea how much I appreciate you, how much so many other people appreciate you right now. Just spread the word, but don't panic. We still have time. Trump still has time to make this fall to go through. So don't fear. Have faith, believe. Do you have the links they shared? I don't have anything written down for links as well as the generals' names. However, I will go back through the tapes, and every time I listen to the tapes, I'm going to start taking down the websites, the books, the links, as well as the generals' names and people's names that you guys can have. And I'll either share it tonight or I'll create a video and share it on there, so at least you guys will have that information. And if anybody in the chat knows any of the answers in here, please go ahead and answer. Oh, one more thing, guys, before you all go. Greg with continuethemission.net. Also, his TikTok is Continue the Mission #3. He holds alive. He is the whole reason I was in that video call. And he is a very smart man. He is an ex-military man, or I should say a vet. And he was previously Leo. He was a law enforcement. So I suggest going to his live, showing him love, and listening to everything that man has to say. Greg is awesome. Continue the Mission #3. I'd really appreciate that. And if you haven't checked out his website, continuethemission.net. And you guys, that's all I have for video. So if you guys got to go, do what you got to do. I'll be back tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I appreciate all the love you guys gave me today. Okay, and just an FYI, I am on all the other websites as Valkyrie 2 Valhalla. The only reason I'm Valkyrie 2 Valhalla here, or I'm sorry, Valkyrie 2 Valhalla #2 is because my original account got banned. Every time I get banned, I will just add a number. So if I get banned on this account, look for Valkyrie 2 Valhalla #3, etc. I hope that makes sense. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for stopping in, guys. I appreciate you. Phone blackouts depend on how close you were to Nashville. Okay, I gotcha. And guys, again, it's not to say something like that is going to happen again. That is not at all what I'm saying. So please don't misconstrue that. All I'm saying is we don't know what's going to happen. So prepare for the worst, hope for the best, always. Well, did anybody catch that link again? America-something.org. Did anybody else catch that link? Can you repeat that link for them? I am not sure what Trump signed so far, guys. I don't know what cards he holds, and that is not something that was shared with me with Greg, as far as I know, just because it is something that needs to be done as a surprise, I guess you can say. So everything that you heard today, you are allowed to hear, but there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that they're not sharing with everyone, and there's purpose for it, because if it gets to the wrong hands, then forget it. But I'd say Trump is going to be our president. I'm going to go ahead and say that. And if I'm wrong, I'll come back online and I'll apologize, blah, 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 blah. But I bet. Stay faithful, patriots. All right, so theamericanreport.org. You have to put the in front of American in order for it to work, is what I'm being told. And guys, use DuckDuckGo or GoDuck, whatever that thing is. Don't use Google and stuff like that. Go to DuckDuckGo. And it's theamericanreport.org. Write that down. Go check it out, please. Will Antenna TV work? I don't know. I'd like to assume it would work because it's got the antenna, but I am not for sure. So, gosh, I wish I had an answer for that. If you guys, again, if you're not following Greg from Continue the Mission #3 on TikTok, these are all answers. This man, he would most likely be able to answer that. Like I said, ex-military and ex-law enforcement. Very smart man, very knowledgeable. Check him out. Follow him, please. Go check out his live, and you can ask him some of these questions, and he'll be able to answer you for sure. But ham radios, CB radios, two-way radios, look for those. If you can purchase one, purchase one. If not, find out what's your closest friend, relative that does have one. That way, if stuff goes south, you know how to make your way towards them so you can pay attention to what's going on. And again, do not freak out. Don't freak out. I'm not sure what law enforcement's been briefed on. I don't know all the logistics behind everything that's going on. I know that they said in the video call, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, that some military is dirty, some FBI is dirty, etc. FYI. So there's a lot of dirty people, a lot of dirty hands. I don't know who knows what. I don't know who the good ones are. They did say it in the video, so tonight I'll try and listen a little closer and we'll find out from there. I don't know anything about the iPhone auto updates. I don't know why you should disable that. I don't know. I honestly don't know that answer. I'm sorry. Oh, you couldn't even turn yours off. Okay, theamericanreport.org, yes. Okay, so Trump is definitely not going to jail, but thank you. Have a nice day. Hey, Gabrielle, I'm going to look for your message. And just a heads up, if you guys are sending me messages in the messenger, I can't respond to you because my number is still connected to my old account. So all I can do is heart your message so that you know that I've seen your message. That is just an FYI. I can't respond to you. If you guys want to put your phone number in there and maybe I can text message you guys, that'll work. But I can't message you back on TikTok until they release my number from my old account. FYI. Yeah, there's a lot of websites are dirty. Apple, Google, Facebook, Twitter, they're dirty. They're no good. So, I mean, I'd go as far as to say that one of these days coming up, we should all just say, screw them all and no longer use their websites. Get them out of business. Kick them to the curb. Just a thought. And keep your phone charged and don't turn it off. Guys, check out the messages that are coming through the chat. This is good information in here. Yeah, just do it now. I've deleted TikTok. So we have to have some way to communicate with each other. That's my only thing. That's why I can't delete every single app. But I do believe that we should start deleting a lot of apps that we don't need and just cutting them off. But we have to keep lines of communication open somehow, some way or another. All the information that you've heard today, if it wasn't for, unfortunately, this app, I wouldn't have been able to get that out. So I'm going to go to Clapper next and see if I can't pass it through there. I'm going to see what I can do about getting it on YouTube, etc. So just spread the word. Hopefully you guys took notes. If you didn't, tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I will be back up, as well as the rest of the week. I will be coming on. I'm not sure if it's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern time or what time exactly. Just an FYI. You're fine, honey.
Okay.
Is that stuff in the way? Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second.
I just need shirts and...
Okay, honey. Just hold on a second. Let me move it out of the way and then you can go get what you need. Just a water bottle. You good? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, guys, so that's really all the information I have. I can leave the chat up so you guys can talk amongst yourselves, give each other a little information, tell each other where to go, what to do. I saw Telegram. That is something also that a buddy of mine told me about last night. So I did just download Telegram. If you guys have not downloaded Telegram, do so ASAP before it disappears. Telegram. Download it before it disappears. It's supposed to be a secure website, or a more secure website, I should say. It's not like TikTok, but it is something that you can send videos through, messages through, etc. Telegram. Also, they're saying Gab. Download Gab. My Liberty page. I am not in the military. I'm an Army brat. My dad was Army. My dad's dad was Army. So I'm a military brat. My ex-husband was a Marine officer. Or a Marine, I should say. Leave out the officer. So military runs in my blood. I just was not in the military. What apps are corrupt? So you've got Twitter's corrupt, Facebook, pretty much every single app that is out there